Hello. Thank you everyone for coming. If any of you have ever had a dream, a business, an idea that the only thing getting in the way of making it a reality was money or funding, you may want to pay attention. Also, I want to say up front that there really are no secrets to Kickstarter. There is no right or wrong way. So what I'm going to do is share our experience of how we raised $24,000 on Kickstarter to make our film. And I hope that you'll learn something from that, because I feel like whether you're a filmmaker or you have an idea for an invention or a business or something along those lines, this can apply to everyone. So I'm just going to start from the beginning, walk you through up to now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to chime in anytime as we go along. So Broken Leg came to be because it was time to make my first feature film. And my friend Luke Johnson and I both were living in Los Angeles. We're from here originally. We decided to move back to Arizona to write that feature. We were working and doing really well in Los Angeles, but we just didn't have the balance that we needed between our personal passion projects and the work we were doing. We felt like here in Arizona, where we had a great support network, where we had a lower cost of living, we could take the time to write this feature film. So we spent about 1.5 years writing the movie. We had investors who were interested in putting in $200,000 that had put money into prior short films of mine, and we were going to raise that money as well as a portion of that budget on Kickstarter. And after 1.5 years, the script was done, the business plan was done. Our lead investor loved the script, really happy with the business plan, and felt like it was something that was going to work well for him and everybody involved. But around that time, which was at the end of 2011, the stock market was doing these dips, and it would peak and it would valley, and it was all over the place. And guys like, I lost 50 grand today. I can't put 10, 20,000 into your movie anymore. And we found that across the board, and this was all happening the week these things landed on their desks. So after all this time of countless nights, weekends, writing this script and working on this story, we now couldn't make the film. We were supposed to go into production in only a few months after that, and it was really discouraging. So we decided we wanted to take things into our own hands, and we felt that what if we wrote a movie that we could raise the money for on Kickstarter, something that didn't require as many actors, locations, or anything like that, and that we could then take it into our own hands, and if we raised the money to do it, it was a green light. So we felt that we could comfortably raise $20,000. And the way we came up with that number is there are a few people involved in the project. Myself as the director, our producer Case Barden, our director of photography, Brett Kalmbach, and our lead actor, Luke Johnson, who I had written the previous movie for and wrote a role in it for this, for him in this one. And here we were 4 different people with different groups of friends, different networks, and the way we looked at it was how much could each of us raise individually? And we created a list. We thought of grandma, friends, family, who would back us that, you know, was kind of like, not a guarantee, but a very likely backer. And we figured we took our best guess of how much they would give. And after the 4 of us did that, we all felt like we could comfortably raise $4,000 to $5,000 each on an average. And then we knew that if we reached a certain point, people from Kickstarter would come on and kick in as well. So we decided to set our goal at $20,000. Now, did we post our Kickstarter the next day? Not at all. We set out for a few months to write a film that would fit into that budget. We came up with the idea about a girl named Carla who has to take care of her brother-in-law who's stuck in a wheelchair with a broken leg. She has to prove to her sister she's responsible, so her sister will co-sign on another student loan. Carla's just finished her bachelor's degree, has done a few job interviews, and doesn't like the job market, misses living off of her student loans. Life was easy in school, so she decides to go back to school. So she's stuck with her brother-in-law, Theo, for a weekend, has to take care of him, and he just wants a party while his wife's away before he becomes a dad, so she has to rein him in. So we came up with this comedy that was really contained, just a few actors. Most of the movie takes place at one house, And once we budgeted that out and wrote that film, we felt comfortable along the lines of this $20,000. So then it went on to creating our campaign. And there are a few things that you have to do when creating a Kickstarter campaign. First off, I was reading the other day that a filmmaker should be seen as a brand. You think of filmmakers like Wes Anderson, for example. You know what to expect when you hear it's going to be a Wes Anderson film. He's a brand, his films are a product. So I think that's a great way to think of it when you're looking at Kickstarter and comparing it to whatever you do. So Broken Leg we saw as a product. Our group of filmmakers, we were trying to develop this brand. So there are a few pieces of a Kickstarter project. First, you set your goal, which I've talked about. You set a timeline, and we found that projects that were in the 20 to 30 day range were just right. It was enough time to get the word out there. It wasn't too short where people would say, I missed it. It wasn't too long, because I've seen projects that are 2-3 months long, and you have to constantly then promote your project for 2-3 months. And it's always a curve where you get a lot of backers at the beginning, it always slows down in the middle, and then there's a lot of backers at the end. We chose Kickstarter because there was no way we could do this project for less than $20,000. Kickstarter is all or nothing. If you don't hit your goal, you don't get any of the money. So we decided to do that because we didn't want to raise $5,000 and have that sit in a bank account if we couldn't make this. Imagine if you need $100,000 to create your invention, you only raise $10,000, you can't make your invention anymore, and now you have all these angry people who now don't like your brand, don't trust you, and think you know you're not making smart financial decisions. While there are projects that do make sense to do something on Indiegogo, for example, where you don't need the all or nothing campaign, for us, we knew we needed that and knew it would go to our benefit. So there are a few elements here. You'll create a pitch video, which I'll talk about in a minute, but also you have this written description of the project. And here we wanted people to connect to us as filmmakers, know our story. We wanted them to realize that they're not only backing this film, they're also connecting to our dream and helping make this dream come true. I've been shipping out the rewards this week after 2 years. The film is finally done. And what's been really interesting is how many people are saying, you know what, I just want my download of the movie, all the other rewards, you know, give them to somebody else because it's great to just support you. But then there are other people like, I want my rewards. So you'll find a mix of people who are willing to support you because you're you, and as well as people who just want the product you're creating. So we told them a little bit about our story, synopsis of the film. We also explained how Kickstarter works. At the time, this was in March 2012, not many people had heard of Kickstarter. There weren't big celebrity Kickstarters yet. There weren't a lot of them out there. So we explained how it worked. We were very open and transparent about how it happens and where the money goes and how you can help. We also tried to engage people in this description. If they couldn't back our project, we encouraged them to share it on social media. And that actually helped. There were a lot of people who shared this project that brought backers in who we never would have found those people if they didn't share it. They didn't have the funds to help us out, but we encouraged that almost as much as backing the film. So that is the project description, as well as here we talked about each member of our team and our community, and thanked some people who helped us out with our project. And then we came to the rewards. Now with the rewards, and this is something that's really on my mind because I've now been shipping these out, you want to think ahead to what it's going to take to actually create these rewards, to ship these rewards, and make sure that you have enough money in your budget to make these rewards. The last thing you want to do is go make your product, make your movie, and then the people who made it possible burn them and say, sorry, we're trying to raise more money to get your rewards to you. So we budgeted out how much each one of these rewards would cost, and we put that in an untouchable account until these past few months when we've been preparing them. So for $5, we did a postcard from the set. This was one of the biggest learning experiences. When we set this up, we thought we're going to have a crew of about 15, 20 people. Let's say even, we ended up having 200 people back us. Well, everyone can just do a couple postcards a day on set, 2-3 postcards, and then they'll get done. But when you're working on an independent film, working 12+ hour days, the last thing you want to do at the end of the day is write a postcard. And we did not get all of the postcards done. So what we did is during the campaign, we were honest about it. Through our updates, we told people, you know what, we're still going to write you a postcard. You're going to get a postcard from a crew member, but it's not going to be from set because we want to make the best film we can possibly make, and that's getting in the way of it. People were very cool with that. These postcards at the $5 level they also took more time than any other reward than making the movie. I've been writing postcards for weeks, and everyone on our team has been. And the reason being, we didn't just want to say, hey, thanks a lot, hope you like the movie. We tried to personalize it as much as possible and make it a heartfelt note, and to thank these people. So it really did take a lot of time. At $20 or more, we gave a digital download of the movie. Now, this is a little bit more than they'll pay for a download now, but this is where we knew we were targeting people who were going to back us because they wanted to support us and they wanted the film. So we found a nice balance of they're giving a little more than the movie costs later on, but they're also getting to help make it and learn throughout the process through our updates. So we did $20 there, and it was actually our most popular reward. A lot of films, a lot of products, I see Kickstarters and I back Kickstarters, but they don't offer the movie. You have to buy it when it's done. And there are some reasons I understand why they'll do that due to distributors or whatnot, but see this as a pre-sale for your product. See this as an opportunity to see if enough people believe in it to buy it now, so you can make it and sell it later. And if enough people don't believe it in now, maybe you need to make an adjustment to your product. And so that's why we offer the movie there at $20. We then offered a choice of Blu-ray or DVD for $50, a short film collection for $100. So for $100, we did the short film collection that, as I said, there were 4 members on our team at the time we did the Kickstarter. We have all been making short films for years. So we collected the best shorts we had up to that point and have an hour-and-a-half long DVD that we just burned ourselves. We put in a nice case, printed on a nice case, and did all that. It was one of our cheaper awards, but it was $100, and for the people who are buying it, they're getting to see where we came from. They're getting an hour-and-a-half of entertainment on top of the movie, and that was a really popular reward. $250, we did the Broken Leg photo book. So we were taking lots of photos on sets, people using their phones. Our producer had a couple film cameras he was using, and we had this photo book made, which is a really cool book, and it has a bunch of quotes from our Kickstarter updates, photos from the set, and at the $250 level, you received this photo book, and also it's another product now that we can sell and have been selling since the movies come out. At $500, we did a scene dedication. We actually did our DVD commentary right here at Gangplank, and we dedicated a scene to the backers who did 500 or above. And what this meant is they got a still printout from the film, from the scene that was dedicated to them, printed it at Costco for like $8, and it looks amazing. Bought an IKEA frame that's the exact aspect ratio of our film, and it looks like we spent $50+ on this reward. Plus, we gave them a shout out in the commentary, told them why we dedicated that particular scene to them. And again, one that didn't cost very much money, but brought in a lot of money, and also was very meaningful to the people who did that. And then $1,000 or more was the executive producer level. They get an executive producer credit. They're invited to all screenings and events put on by the filmmakers. They receive a plaque worthy of executive producer and also the above rewards. And something I failed to mention, if you back at $1,000 or more, you get everything below it. $500, you get everything below it. So every level, if you get back at $50, you also get the $20 reward, also get the $5 reward, is a way we decided to do it. The executive producers, since our actor wore a leg cast for the entirety of production, we cut that into a bunch of pieces and we put that in a little hockey puck case engraved their names on it and gave them that to put on their desk. Since our film is a comedy, we thought we'd do something classy but funny, and they've all really loved it. It's been something they have on their desk, and when other people come into their office, they're like, what the hell is that piece of cast on your desk? And they get to explain how they were an executive producer on a movie, which a lot of people are excited about and have fun with. And that was something that was a really popular item. So once you have your rewards and your description, you need to look at your video. When people come to a Kickstarter page, some people will only watch the video. Some people will only read the description. Some people will do both. So we tried to make a video that included everything that they needed to know about our project, everything in that description, proved that we could actually make a movie and make something interesting in a short form, and show that we were going to put a lot of attention and detail into every aspect of this project. It is not acceptable if you're trying to raise $100,000 to make some polished, clean product for you to just talk into your webcam when it's dark in the middle of the night. Get a friend with a camera, or wait until there's better lighting. Just show that you're going to put the effort into it. You don't have to be a filmmaker to do this, but just show that you're going to use your resources and do the best you can in every aspect of it. And is the sound hooked up to the computer if I play it? Yep. Awesome. I'll play the video for you. We want you to be a part of it. Kieran Thompson, and I'm the director of Broken Leg. My friends and I are going to make a movie this summer. We want you to be a part of it. Ooh, sorry. Someone told me once that filmmaking is the art with the most expensive canvas, and it's so true. Kickstarter is a website that allows people like us to make projects that we normally couldn't afford to make. We have until April 6th to raise $20,000. Kickstarter campaigns are all or nothing, so we have to meet that goal or we can't make this movie. This is a chance to pre-order the movie, and the more money you pledge, the cooler the rewards. Basically, you're telling us, we have faith in you, go make this movie, and I can't wait to see it when it's done. Broken Leg is a story of Carla, a perennial college student who's afraid to graduate and face the real world. So she needs her sister Kate to co-sign on yet another student loan. Kate's going out of town for the weekend and needs someone to take care of her husband, Theo. He's a complete buffoon and he's currently stuck in a wheelchair with a broken leg. Carla sees this as an easy way to prove that she can be responsible. But what she doesn't know is that Theo and Kate are expecting a baby, and Theo sees this as his last chance to be irresponsible and to party before becoming a father. This story gives us tons of opportunity for comedy, and our team is really excited to bring it to life.
I want to be able to empower Kieran to, go out there and make a comedy that'll make people laugh, because I know he'll be able to do that as long as, I can kind of protect him from having to worry about the money and having to worry about getting food, having to worry about all the production things. I want to allow him to be able to be focused on making you laugh.
I think the most important role of a DP is to be able to take what's in the director's head and put it on screen. I've shot a variety of projects, from music videos to commercials to narrative short films. So we've decided to shoot Broken Leg on the Red 1 camera. One advantage of me owning this camera, I get to play with it every single day, whereas a lot of other people will need to rent this thing out. I can use it on a small project here and there, or just play with it in my bedroom if I want every single day.
It was a huge, extraordinary honor when my leg got cast as the title character in the film.
Luke is the funniest person I know.
The very first shoot that we did was a bunch of people puking.
We just want to take this crazy mass of energy that is Luke and present it to you on screen.
So I'm trying to put my big boy pants on. Done a lot of funny tomfoolery on the internet.
You want to talk about neutrons? Let's talk neutrons.
I'm not some conjurer of cheap tricks.
It's time to prove that I can act in a feature role. We got a good captain steering the ship. Ahoy, me matey!
Ever since I was a little kid, I've wanted to make movies. I went to film school and I've been working in the industry for the past 4 years. And it's been really exciting to do what I love for a living. I gravitate towards heartfelt comedies. Comedies that make you laugh and make you think. I love sitting in the theater with an audience and hearing them laugh. You're gonna get to share in that feeling because you're helping make a movie.
We want this to be like the kind of film that you like, you know, you sit back even years from now, you sit back and watch it and be like, I remember being a part of that.
You could be like, Grandma, I did something with my life. I have a film. And she'll be like, how'd you do it? And you're gonna be like, Grandma, I just gave a little bit of dough.
We definitely couldn't do this without you, so we're super thankful for your support, and we're excited to take you on the journey with us.
Our team on Broken Leg is ready, willing, and capable to bring you a high-quality film. It's just this last step is we need your support.
So if you'll visit our Kickstarter page and back our project, I promise we won't let you down. This is going to be a film with your name on it, something that you can share with friends and family for years, and something that you'll be proud of. So I hope you'll join us in making Broken Leg. Thank you. Thanks. So we had the video, we had the description and the rewards. It was now time to launch our project. Now, do you think this was the first time that all of our family and friends had heard about this project when they first saw it on Facebook? No. We told people for up to 2 weeks in advance, this is going live on March, whatever day it went live. And they knew what morning it was going to go live, they knew what time. And we asked them, please, if you're going to consider supporting us on this project, back us on day one. Back us first thing in the morning, because that way when we're pushing it out, people showed up at our project on, the middle of the day on the first day, and we already had like $4,000 in there. And people said, this is going to happen, this is going somewhere. They have that momentum. And I've seen this with friends' projects. They just post them online, please help my project, and you click on it and it's $0. Their mom hasn't even backed it yet. Why am I going to back it yet? And it's really funny how that plays into like your subconscious set. You'll say, this thing isn't successful because you don't know how long it's been up. So when I see friends' projects, I try to back them as fast as possible. So we asked people to back us, and we had a really successful first day. We actually raised $8,000 on day one, which is 40% of the goal. And the reason being, all day money was coming in, people were sharing it, excited, this is awesome, this is something I backed. Every time someone backed us, we messaged them individually, thanked them, and asked them to share it, and told them how to share it. We gave them the link to use, and just enabled them to promote us. And we had talked to places like IFP Phoenix, which is an independent film group in town. They promoted us, they did a post on us, and we reached out to lots of people like that who were willing to share our story. Because there were 4 of us involved in the project instead of just one of us, we all had different connections and different connections to press, and I found, especially while promoting the film, that if you have a direct connection to someone in the press, or even a semi-connection, they're more likely to write about you than just sending in your story. So our director of photography, Brett, had a connection to a morning radio show, the KWSS in town. It's The Morning Interruption is a morning radio show, an alternative station in town. And we got an executive producer out of that. Someone heard us on the radio, decided to back us at the highest level. So you never know how you're going to find these people, these backers, but you want to reach out in as many places as possible. IndieWire.com is a film news website, covered us as a project of the day, and then we were eligible for project of the week. As I said, all these people we figured would back, did back. If they didn't, we had a friend reach out to them, And it's easier to have a friend say, hey, have you backed this movie, than to say, hey, give me some money. But I've been on the other side of that coin. I want to back people's projects, and sometimes it takes me seeing it 3 times before I finally do it. Because you're out on your phone and getting coffee or something, you say, oh yeah, I want to do that. And then you're later checking email and you're like, oh yeah, I got to back that Kickstarter. It takes a 3rd, 4th time. So don't feel ashamed of promoting your project and your dream because people will eventually back it. And as I said with Kickstarter, people ended up coming in who we didn't even know. We had someone back above the executive producer level who just saw our video on Kickstarter and wanted to support us. None of us know him. He's from New York, and he's just some nice rich guy, I guess, who likes comedies. And he didn't want any recognition, just thought, this looks like a cool project I want to be a part of. And that's something that you can find in this Kickstarter community. And that's something I recommend, actually, all of you do. If you look, I've backed 32 projects on Kickstarter. You can go and back a project for $1. See how they handle their project. Help somebody out. When you're on the other end, you'll see how much $1 really means and how much it adds up. So you want to join the Kickstarter community, and you don't want this to be zero backed if you're going to have a project coming up. Another thing we did during the project and ever since is share updates on our film. And these go back, we've now done 43 updates, and every time we do one, it's an extensive blog post on, here's one on the making of the poster. We did one on our composer. We've done one about every major crew member, but we started these during the campaign because it's new content that we could share on social media. One of our crew members' short films came out during our campaign, so we did a whole write-up on that, shared it. It went to our backers. Our backers are learning more about our team. We get to ask them, there's a call to action to share our project, and we're getting to share it on Facebook, Twitter, etc., and people are getting to see the project. It's popping up in their feeds, and they're also learning something. Updates are the #1 thing that I think a lot of people fail at Kickstarter. I backed a project for these young filmmakers, went to my film school. They had an awesome video, awesome project, and at the time, I worked freelance. It was in one of those slow times. I didn't have a lot of money to give, but I gave them more than I normally would with the promise of updates and inclusivity. And they never posted one update. And to be on the other end of that, I felt how much it sucked, that you believed in these people. You want to see them succeed. And I just really wanted to see people from my school be successful. And nothing from them. No movie, haven't been given the rewards. Now, I don't want to be a part of anything that those filmmakers are ever a part of, and I don't trust them. You don't want that to happen to your business. You can put up a campaign and fail well. It's okay to not meet your goal. It's a test, It's a trial. See if people are interested in it. You don't meet it, that's fine. But if you do meet your goal and you never make your rewards, you never make your project, that's just going to damage your brand and your company and your reputation. So we wanted to make sure that people always felt involved and learned about the process. This has now been 2 years of updates for our backers when we don't have to do these, but now we've seen what this can do. We now have 223 backers. We were successful and we surpassed our goal by $4,000. And now we have 223 engaged fans. When we premiered at the Phoenix Film Festival, our film sold out in less than a week. They moved us to a bigger theater, it sold out again. We don't have any stars in our movie. No other movie sold out for weeks later. This was a month before the festival. Because we had these backers who've been following us for 2 years and are rooting for us, they shared it. They brought their friends. We then did our own premiere at FilmBar this weekend. We sold out on Saturday. On Sunday, we sold every seat but 5. People are engaged and excited in our tiny movie that if we didn't use Kickstarter, or if we used Kickstarter and just said, see you in 2 years when it's done, they wouldn't be there to support us. So you're not only getting money from these people, you're getting an active community of fans who are going to engage with you, support you, and be your biggest supporters, which is almost more valuable than that money. I always joke that you couldn't pay me $24,000 to do all the things that Kickstarter required, all the updates, the sending out the rewards. Literally the past 2 weeks have been nothing but getting books and DVDs, stuffing envelopes, printing labels, all that stuff. And these updates, my producer and I would spend so much time, way too much time, perfecting these blog posts because we wanted them to be as good as possible. It's a lot of work, but we now have a movie to show. We now are able to get our foot in the door at a lot of places because we have a first feature done. we have a film that we're proud of, that people are liking and connecting with, and that never would have happened without Kickstarter. We wouldn't have been able to make this. So let me show you now, I guess, the product of this campaign. This is the trailer for our movie. Sorry.
Is it the right way?
Yes, it's the right
Are
way.
you sure? Are you sure? Okay.
Are you sure? Rockabye feel on the water.
Pissed beyond reason.
Oh no.
Polka dots just too desperate in general.
Aren't you just babysitting?
Freedom!
Oh, you got out of the house? I mean, it's not just babysitting. I have to talk to her about something.
Make sure CEO knows that I'll be auditing your expenses.
That's a bummer.
No alcohol, no alcohol. Please don't let him drink in the house.
That's a good idea. Shots? Shots.
No guests. No parties. And take it easy on him too, because he's been kind of having a hard time lately. Got it.
No beer.
Come on, Carla. Beer is like dude currency for doing free things for your friends.
Oh yeah. Oh man. That song sucks.
So that's something that, our film wouldn't exist, and that's just a taste of the 91-minute film. But this film wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Kickstarter, and we wouldn't have all of these engaged fans if it wasn't for Kickstarter. I'm used to doing this. I've done this presentation before, and I've done it in an hour setting, so I've tried to condense it because I want to leave room for any questions you may have for something specific to your project. So that's just kind of an overview, but if there's questions about a specific aspect of Kickstarter, or maybe you have an idea, you're interested in kickstarting, I'd love to field them. The person with the most interesting question, I'll give a free download of the movie to. It comes out this Friday, DVD, Blu-ray, and on Vimeo on demand, but I'll give you a free download. So I'd love to hear your questions.
When you came up with your goal, did you include, or had you already planned marketing of the film? Like you've got the Broken Legs website, you did the thing at FilmBar, and I know that you talked about the rewards, but I think, I hadn't necessarily thought about the cost of promotion, although, it seems to me like that would be, $5,000 right there.
Yeah, actually, so the question was, did we include marketing in the budget for the film? We did include a portion for it, but there were a lot of things that we would normally spend money on that we knew between myself and my producer we can do and would have to do in this aspect. For example, our poster, which you can see here, we did an update about the poster. My producer and I designed this ourselves. Can't really see it, but we designed our own poster. A guy on our team edited the trailer. We're doing a lot with social media. Typically with a film, when you go to see a movie that costs $1 million, they'll budget $1 million to market it. It's always the same that you spent on the movie to market it. So we did include some in there, but the issue was we felt like, okay, this movie we've written is going to cost about $15,000. $5,000 was left, let's say, for the rewards and for marketing and whatnot. We designed our own website. We did all of these things that we had a line item in there in the budget, but we could zero it out because we knew we had to do it. But that meant hours and hours and hours of work on our end. But we didn't comfortably feel like we could hit $30,000 or $40,000. And for us, we were willing to do all that extra work as long as it meant we could make this movie, because we didn't want anything to get in the way. So in hindsight, especially now that we've done this, I think that there are some ways we could have gotten a little bit more money, especially now when Kickstarter is a little more familiar. A lot of people say that, like, oh, well, why is Zach Braff using Kickstarter? I love that Zach Braff is using Kickstarter because now Kickstarter's all over the news. His campaign, I threw a few bucks at it to see how he ran it. It's one of the best run campaigns I've ever seen. They did behind the scenes videos on every aspect of the filmmaking process. Everyone who backs that Kickstarter is going to be hungry to back some more. So what's interesting is that community has grown. So I feel like we could have raised a little bit more to cover that marketing expense. But when you're doing that, when you're doing your budget, you do want to think all the way ahead because a lot of films end up doing another Kickstarter to finish paying for color correction or editing and all these things. And we did not want to come back to the well with this one. We promised this is what we need to make the movie, and we did whatever it took. It took a long time to find a sound editor who would work for our budget. But then we ended up finding this amazing sound editor who's done huge films like Spectacular Now and 12 Years a Slave. So there were some benefits to not having money because we looked and looked and looked, and so there are things like that that I wish we would have had some money for. Yeah.
So are you thinking of doing this again? And if you are, do you feel like this network of viewers would back again, or do you feel like you tap people out, or are you going to wait a few years or whatever? How are you thinking about that?
Here, there's a few answers to that, and I'm glad you asked it, because one of the things that a lot of people say is, I don't want to throw a project on Kickstarter because I don't want to feel like a charity case, for example. And that's why I think you need to put whatever you're creating as a reward on your Kickstarter. The idea is, let's say that we were planning on making a movie and selling it for $15, and you could get it on Kickstarter for $10 and be a part of the movie. And we have a goal that if we hit that goal, then we get to make the film. Then the idea is you just have to find enough people who believe in you in advance, but you're giving them a discount, you're giving them an opportunity to be a part of making this. Every Kickstarter backer we have, I think, would back us again. The reason I wouldn't consider doing it maybe for the next project is because it added a lot of extra work on top of the filmmaking process that when we're doing this on our own, $24,000 didn't pay any of us to work full-time on this movie. We actually spread the money amongst the crew. Everyone got paid the same so they could take 3 weeks off of work to be able to shoot the thing. So whether production assistant or producer, their bills were covered. That was one of the main things that we wanted to do. But all this extra stuff, it was like I have a full-time job working production, freelance production in town. I was making this movie, and I was doing everything the Kickstarter required. So if I weren't to return to it immediately, it'd be because I wouldn't have the time to do all these updates to make the project on top of that. But I think that everyone who backed us had a good experience. And since it's been 2.5 years now since they backed it, I don't feel like we'd be coming back to the well when almost half of our backers backed at the $20 level. More than half of our backers backed at 50 or below. And I feel like since they're getting, a DVD or a Blu-ray, and they're getting a download, we took the time to make sure that these were, nice, just like they buy in the store. I don't feel like it was as much of a charity situation as it was a product. So I would be interested in using it again because of the community it builds and because of the support network, but it's just a lot of extra work on top of it. Any other questions back there?
How does the digital download work? I mean, I always see that. I get a download of film, and I'm like, somewhere.
So at this time when we had it, to be honest, we weren't exactly sure. We had a few options, even if it was worst case scenario, a friend who's a programmer who could make different passwords where you get a download of QuickTime. But thank the heavens, Vimeo made an amazing service called Vimeo On Demand. And now Vimeo's built into a lot of TVs. If you have an Apple TV, it's built into that, a Roku, Google TV. You can stream on your phone, stream on your iPad. They love independent filmmakers, and they actually realized that this was something a lot of us needed. So they let you create promo codes for free downloads. So you can go on vimeo.com/ondemand/brokenleg, type in your promo code, you can stream the movie, come back whenever you want and watch it, or you can download a QuickTime straight from their site. So it made it really easy, and they charge nothing for the promo codes. It costs $200 a year to be a pro member of Vimeo, but it also allows us to sell rentals of the movie. For $4, you can rent the movie for 48 hours. For $13, you can download the movie and have it forever. So that's what we're really pushing and trying to get people to do that, because they think, oh, download, I don't want to watch a movie on my computer. But that's the next process we're going to try and educate people about, like, hey, if you have an Apple TV and an iPhone, you can stream this in HD to your TV. It'll look great. Yes?
So what do we need here in Arizona to really have a sort of like a filmmaking industry like we did, decades ago?
There are lots of things. It's interesting. I said that I came back to Arizona to write this script. I gave myself a year, and at the end of that year, I consider if I was going to stay here or go back to LA. What I like here is just, first off, I love Arizona. I feel like it's a city on the rise, or Phoenix is a city on the rise. There's lots of great art, music, film, restaurants, bars, lots of fun things happening here. And also, there's more of a community here than I felt in LA. LA, everything was film related. Phoenix, I also have friends not in film. I have family here. I have a lot of support. The reason, because I work in the industry, I mostly work on commercials and some TV that comes to town. The reason films don't come to town is because of our lack of a tax incentive. New Mexico has a tax incentive that movies like 310 to Yuma shot in New Mexico because Arizona doesn't have a tax incentive. So that's something that gets talked about a lot in the press, and something that the political environment at the moment isn't right for it. So we use this opportunity to show people, like, you can make a movie here, and everyone on our team is trying to do educational things to help other filmmakers make this stuff. I want to talk to anyone in the community about how to do successful Kickstarter. I don't want you to make a failed project. I want to show that Arizona has a lot of talented creatives, and that we have the ability to make good content and showcase our beautiful state, which we didn't get to do much because most of this takes place in a house. But because of this, we can make another one, and we can make it here and not jump ship. So I think it takes just a few things. One, people making content. Two, we should only celebrate quality content. When our friends are making projects, if they're not something that is really worth sharing, we should give them the feedback to help them make something that is. Far too often there are screenings in Arizona of Arizona short films I bring my fiance to. She'll never go again because some of them are amazing and some of them are crappy. I made a lot of crappy short films before I made this feature. And I don't think we need to be showcasing everything but the best of the best, and then help everyone get to be the best of the best, Yeah.
What's the talent pool like in Arizona? Did you find it difficult to find, or is it because you grew up here, you knew plenty of people, or what is the talent pool like?
I'm glad you asked that, actually. Well, there she is. Sarah Sawyer was not involved in our project when we wrote the film, when we did the Kickstarter. I wrote the film for this gentleman, Luke. He's ridiculous. I wrote my last movie with him for 1.5 years, and he's way too much to handle. So I put that into a character. So he's hilarious. He's from here. We did auditions here in Phoenix as well as in Los Angeles for the role of Carla, because it's the lead role. It's a protagonist. And she was by far the best, and she went to ASU at the time, just graduated. She's actually phenomenal. She's just been accepted into the Vistal Old Brick School, or I'm saying that wrong. It's a school in London that is one of the most prestigious acting schools in the world. They only accept 12 students a year, and she's just been accepted to that and is leaving in September. So she was actually late to her audition, and because she got lost downtown, almost didn't come in. And I can't imagine if she didn't, because she has such a phenomenal performance. The talent pool here is good. If we had more movies coming to town, it'd be better, because once people get in the union, they start moving to Los Angeles. But there's a lot of good young actors in town, and some people there's a lot of great theater talent as well. Yeah.
Does Sarah still need help?
Yes, it's funny. So Sarah is doing an Indiegogo campaign at the moment. She is one of the most hardworking actresses I know. She was still in school while we were making this film and got straight A's. We literally had to let her go to class sometimes during the shoot, and we'd shoot other stuff. And she has been accepted in the school, and it's incredibly expensive, and she's not allowed to get a student loan because it's an international program. She would have to take a private loan. So she's been working 2-3 jobs ever since she got out of school. Some family's helping her out, and she needs $4,017 to help get to the school. She's doing an Indiegogo campaign, so if you search for Sarah Sawyer, you can find that. And that's just something where that is more of a charitable thing. But when I saw it, I was like, how can you not get this opportunity to go to the school Daniel Day-Lewis went to and Kevin Spacey ran after he won his Best Actor Oscar? Like, it's, yeah, Bristol Old Vic is what it's called. It's a phenomenal school, and she was considering not going because of that amount of money she couldn't raise. We said, you have to do something. And now she's raised over $1,000 in a couple days, and I feel like she'll hit her goal. So that's another side of crowdfunding that you're really helping someone's dream come true. And she has a lot of fun rewards, like selfies in front of British monuments and things like that. Any other? Sarah Sawyer. Sarah Sawyer. And if you find me on Twitter, I'll tweet about it afterwards, and if you'd like to support that. And if you'd like to purchase a film, if you're interested, I have some available here. And also, I like your questions. I'm going to give you a free download so you can experience Vimeo on demand. But please, if you're interested in the film, check it out. It comes out this Friday. Please share it. Share the trailer. Do anything you can to get the word out. That's something that can help build a film community here in town. And if you want, reach out to me, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I'm more than willing to answer questions. As I said, I want you to have a successful campaign, and I'll do whatever I can to do that. On top of that, Kickstarter has a school on their website. They call it the Kickstarter School or something like that. Find that. It has so many best practices. Like, did you know it's best to start your campaign on a Monday and end on a Friday? And all these little things that they've learned that they're just sharing with you. It's free information. During our video, those cool animations were from another Kickstarter that they said, here, take it. It's free. Thank you, everyone, for helping us out. There's so many resources out there. You're part of a crowdfunding community, a collaborative community, which really fits into this environment. So if you do decide to use Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or any of these platforms, reach out to people, because anyone who's had a successful campaign is going to be willing to help you out.
I just wanted to add, I loosely work with Representative David Schweiker, and I was in one of our meetings about another project he was trying to start. He was mentioning how he's been trying to get the tax credits and some of the other things that are desperately needed here to get the momentum started. And one of the things he mentioned offhand was, he goes, I just wish those who want it could bring me something legit that I could then bring to the others and say, look, this is what's being done here.
Interesting.
So I think this would be perfect.
Yeah, I'll send it to him. And I'm a member of the board of the Arizona Production Association, which is trying to find ways to bring the incentive back to town. Because I work in my day job often as a line producer. So I'm working with schedule and budget. Where on this I was directing, working with the actors, a more creative role. But I see how much money goes into hotels, food, local restaurants. And if a $30 million movie comes to town and was going to spend, $300,000 in taxes, and instead they spend $200,000 or whatever it would be, aren't you still happy for that $200,000 and the jobs that are created and the excitement about Arizona that's created, positive news stories about Arizona? So that's really interesting. I'll reach out to him, send it over. Or actually, yeah, it's even better if you do it. This is something I saw. Yeah. Great. Any final questions?
I'm just curious, it's not directly about crowdfunding, but I thought it was really interesting to get your opening at the FilmBar. Was that something that was a result of the Phoenix Film Festival, or how did that come about?
No, we sought out the FilmBar. When we looked at something, who has not been to FilmBar yet? Downtown Phoenix. You gotta go. This place is really cool if you're interested in film. It's a local business. if you've been to Crescent Ballroom, I kind of compare it to like it's what Crescent Ballroom is in music, FilmBar is trying to become for film. They show a lot of great independent films as well as a lot of old films that they bring back. They have a bar, you can buy drinks, beer and wine, and bring it into the theater. It's a small, intimate theater, 70 seats. So when we were looking at Harkins or looking at AMC or any of these theaters, we thought, well, this film is really a local film, a strong, independent project, and we want to see places like FilmBar succeed. So we reached out to them, and we rented the theater. And so all the responsibility was on us to fill that thing. But now that we got a huge crowd there both days, and we had a really good turnout with that, they're more interested to show things like ours. It took a lot of convincing at first because they had some bad experience with other people in the industry or not the best experience. But now because we worked hard, we promoted it, we marketed it, we reached out to people, got the word out, they're more interested in doing things like this. But they're really, really fantastic people to work with, and they do rentals for any sort of thing. If you need 70 seats for any type of event, they'll do rentals with you. Cool. All right, well, thank you all so much. You can find me just Kieran Thompson on Twitter, or at Kieran Thompson on Twitter, Facebook, Kieran Thompson. It's KIERANTHOMPSON, and it's brokenlegmovie.com, and it comes out August 1st. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope it helped.